Hey guys, it's Dave from Countryside. Welcome to another episode of FFRM, Family Farm and Ranch Manager. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how you install and download FFRM. So, FFRM is a farm management system that I wrote that helps me manage my farm, and I'm hoping that it can help a lot of other folks out there as well. Where do you get it? Well, as you can see right here, our website is www.countrysidebp.com. And when you go there, you can see that on the menu, there's an FFRM download. You click on that, and the first thing that comes up is FFRM version 1 demo digital download. Uh, yeah, it says it's $1. It's not. It's free. The um, hosting site that we use, they won't let you do $0 downloads. They insist it has to be $1. So you add that to your bag and then you check out. So the first thing you do here is you add to the bag and then you follow the directions here in this online store. It's pretty simple. You check out and then you provide an email, and that email it's sent back to you after I approve it for you to do a digital download. And when you click on that file, then it will download to, I believe, your download folder on your PC. All right. So after checking out of the store, within a day or so, you'll get an email with a link to download the zip file. That zip file includes 5 files within it. So it's a single zip file. It has, 5 other ones packed inside of it. The first one is an example data file for what I called Farm A. The second file is another example data file for Ranch B. And the third file is another data file, which is a blank one that you can use in the future, make a copy of it for loading in all the data and information for your farm or for multiple farms and ranches. The fourth file that's in that zip file is an application program file. It's called a front end file. Basically, it connects to one of these other data files and uses that data to do functions within that program. And then you also see a reports program file. It's sort of the same thing as number 4 here, only this one basically just is used to print reports. Um, One thing to note, all test users that are included with the example data files have a PIN whenever you log in with them of 123456. So please remember that. You can change those if you wish, and certainly the examples that are included in this blank empty data file also have 123456. But if you go in as the admin user, you can change those to another PIN that you can please remember. So, an overview of installing FFRM. For number 1, download the install package zip file from our online store. I already talked about that and the 5 files. Number 2, the prerequisite. You must have a running Microsoft Windows PC to run FFRM with adequate disk space and adequate memory. Unfortunately, it won't run on an Apple. It won't run on a Chromebook or whatever else. So make sure you have a Microsoft Windows PC handy. And generally, any modern version of Windows should be fine from Windows 7 up to Windows 11. But the more modern the version of Windows is, and the more modern the computer is, the better. You need a minimal amount of free space on your disk drive on the Windows PC. I'd recommend at least 500 megabytes or 1/2 of a gigabyte. That should be fine, but certainly if you have more than that, that's more than adequate. And the more memory you have on your Windows PC, the better. It basically just runs faster with more memory. It's typical of any other application on a Windows PC. I'd suggest at least 8 gigabytes of RAM on most modern PCs, but 12 gig or 16 gig certainly is better. All right, next one, number 3. This is the hardest one, probably the hardest thing you're going to do. Let's tackle this. Okay, on your Windows PC, you must have a running version, some version of Microsoft Access. Microsoft Access is a program from Microsoft. It creates an environment on your Windows PC that can run the programs that we talked about. The backup here, the data files and the application program files, all of these run within the environment of Microsoft Access. So that's why you have to have Microsoft Access installed on your Windows PC. So let's talk about that. Do you have to run out and buy a copy? No. Microsoft Access comes in two different flavors. One is the paid version and one's the free version. If you have a subscription to Microsoft 365, there's a pretty darn good chance you already have Microsoft Access in that subscription. That's also known as Office 365 or Microsoft Office and so forth. Or if sometime in the past you bought a standalone version of Microsoft Office, or you could go out, if you really don't like subscriptions, you could just buy a a copy of or a license to a standalone copy of Microsoft Access, the most current one. It's a one-time purchase. You can get that from online stores such as Amazon or CDW and some of the other, a lot of other ones out there. Okay, so that's the paid versions of Microsoft Access. And then there's also the free version. So and I run this on the computer that runs FFRM for my farm. So there's nothing wrong with that. You cannot do development of Microsoft Access programs and reports under this. It only will run what's already been written, in other words. But it's perfectly adequate for running a program or an application program or a reports program that's already been written. So it's perfectly fine. And it's free. It's called Microsoft Access Runtime. You can search for that, do a Google search out on the web. It's free to download and install. Make sure you get it directly from Microsoft itself and nobody else. It comes in either a 32 or a 64-bit version. The trickiness here is you got to follow the instructions on the Microsoft site to install the correct one for your PC. So just follow the directions. Most likely, the more modern versions of Windows is going to support the 64, but just follow the directions to make sure you get the right one. The other thing to keep in mind is do not install Microsoft Access Runtime if you already have a version of Microsoft Office installed on the same PC. Follow the instructions on the Microsoft site. They've got oodles and gobs out there. I don't have to repeat those. Just go out to the Microsoft site and make sure you're on the Microsoft site and download and install what they suggest. So that takes care of the hardest part of the whole darn shooting match is Microsoft Access and making sure you got the Microsoft Access environment set up on your Windows PC. So now let's take it from here. A recommendation. Okay, on your Windows PC, I suggest you go out and create a folder, or also called a directory, on your Windows PC and name it something such as C:/FFRM. The reason I recommend that specific folder name, at least when you're starting off, are that copies of FFRM that you're downloading already assume that they will run from this particular folder. So it's simple to get you up and running initially, and there's less confusion. Just easier. That's the least path of resistance. So create that folder on your Windows PC. Another recommendation, Uh, on your Windows PC, open your Windows Explorer, the program in Windows that lets you look at folders and files on your hard drive. Go to Options, then to View, then uncheck the box for Hide Extensions and File Types. Let's go ahead and walk through that. All right, so here we have Windows Explorer up, and I believe this is Windows 11. Other versions of Windows will look kind of similar to this. But what you're looking for is to find the Options area. It could actually be under Preferences and maybe in an older version, but a newer version is going to be called Options. And then when your folder options come up, you want to click on View. And then over here, you scroll down a little bit. And what you're looking for, hide extensions for known file types. That will probably be clicked on by default. You uncheck that. Then you apply it and you say OK. What that's going to do is that whatever the dot is at the end of the file name, it lets you see that. Otherwise, it hides it. So that's why we do that. Okay, and also on this PC, you can see here, I created on here FFRM. And I also created two more or three more that you may want to do in the future. FFRM-backup, FFRM-doc, and FFRM-receipts. Sometime in the future, I'll talk about those, but for right now, at the very least, you want to try to create this one right here, Windows C:\FFRM. All right, let's go back to our instructions. Next, what we're going to do is copy the zip file that you downloaded from our website to the folder that you created above, C:\FFRM. Then we're going to unzip the downloaded zip file into the folder C:\FFRM on your PC. You right-click on the zip file and follow the instructions to unzip the files into your folder C:\FFRM. Let's go ahead and show you how to do that. So on my PC, it automatically, most of your newer versions of Windows will have this up here under favorites or something like that. I'm not sure what that's called, but there's downloads. And when I actually went through our site and downloaded it from our online store, this is the file that showed up. And what I'm going to do is make a copy of that right there. And I'm going to come over here to C:\FFRM. And I'm going to right click there and I'm going to paste it right there. So that put a copy, it's 2.2 meg, of that zip file. Now that zip file has other stuff in it, like I said, 5 other things. Now what I'm going to do is right click on that and I'm going to come down here and extract all because it's a zip file. So I'm going to extract the zip files out of the zip file itself. And it's going to say, well, I'd like to go ahead and create a big old folder out here with the same name. No, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're just going to come back here to there. I'm going to backspace and actually get rid of that. And just to make sure, I'm going to select that. And that's where it's going to extract the files. So I'm going to extract. Boom. There they are. So now you've got your extracted files. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Here is the application file that we talked about. Here's the reports file. And here are the 3 data files, one for Farm A, one for Ranch B, and the blank master copy that you're going to, in a little while, make a copy of for your farm. Okay, so we took care of that. Now we're going to double click on the FFRM application file, which we just unzipped, FFRM V01 app for application release 1. Okay, let's go back and do that. And that would be this file right here. And I already have a version of Microsoft Access on this computer, so I'm all set to go. When I double click on that, it comes up and says, Family.Farm.and.Ranch.Manager, welcome. A customer ID and license key will be provided to you upon your purchase of a license. In the meantime, though, you may proceed under demo mode. That's a nearly full-featured version that basically you get to use as you uh, try it out. So that's what it is. By accepting this, you accept the license agreement. That's found on our website as well. So I'm going to hit accept, and then it's going to ask you to log in. Remember, all the pins for these guys are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see what it's attached to now. I believe this is Farm A, the file for Farm A. And as you can see, I made up some names here. Just pulled them out of the hat. I don't know where I found those names. Anyway, um, two of them here are in caps, so you could tell that they're kind of important. One is admin. That's the admin user. You're going to see that even in the file that comes for your blank farm or ranch data file. And then there's another one called demo. We'll come in here under John B. And I'm going to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll press login. And boom, there I go. And as I was, hey, mine like a steel trap, just a little rusty. So it is Farm A, the database. The name of the farm or ranch is FFRM Example Farm A. And a short name for it is just Farm A. Notice here that in demo mode, it does flash. It's a little annoying, but once you pay the $50 and you buy your license, that will change to just licensed mode, and it doesn't flip on and off anymore. And this is basically FFRM. You've installed it, and the application is pointing to the data file for Farm A. And as I had in the application overview, I can show you real quick. This is where you select the data database or the data file to go to a different one. It's already pointing to CFFRM. Like I said, that's where the default. And those are the three that we just copied in there. If I want to go see what's in Ranch B, I can link to that one. It linked. I come back in, and it just happens to have the same names. I didn't change any of those, so it is users in a different farm, but they're given the same name. And now you're looking at Ranch B. That's the data for that one. If prompted, of course, you can select, and I just showed you how to link to a different data file. Now, I'm going to poke around a while. You can't really hurt anything because it's just example data, Farm A and Ranch B. They're provided so that you can practice entering, deleting, changing without risk, essentially. And after that, when you're ready, after you've tried out the example data files, then make a copy of FFRM V01 data blank master copy .accdb data file. This copy will then be used to hold all the data for your farm or ranch. This copy should be kept in the same folder, CFFRM, and name it something like, well, you keep this part here and you keep this part here, but you're free and clear to make this in the middle. I can't do that, but anyway, you're free and clear to change this part over here as you want. So the lowercase stuff, feel free to change. The uppercase stuff and after the dot here, keep that because the program actually searches for that and that for other when it's looking for FFRM data files. In fact, let's go and try that. Here is the blank master. And let's say the name of your farm is Joe's Farm. So I'm going to right click on that and copy, and then come down here and I'm going to paste. It'll paste in a copy. All right. I don't want that to change that. So what I'm going to do is basically from this Y over, I'm going to leave the dot, and I'm going to call this Joe's Farm. And the dot is still in there, .accb, so everything is cool. Now here's data for Joe's Farm, and that'll be the name of that from then on out, Joe's Farm. Let's run over to FFRM and see if it can find it. And again, that's in the FFRM folder. So here's our FFRM over here in the admin tab on the back end. It's gonna search in here, and I'm gonna refresh the list of databases just for fun. And now here's Joe's Farm sitting right there. And if I click on that, it'll link to it. And when it comes up, you'll see a different list of users. Now it's just some default ones I put in there: owner, farm manager, admin, and demo. Those also, let's go on in with owner. Also start off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you go in as the admin user, also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can change that. Change it for all of them, and that'd be a good thing. So this is a new farmer ranch, and then you'll go in, change the name of the current database right there. Okay, it's restricted only to the admin user. Rather than clicking on a different one and linking to a different one, you could change the name of the database and the name of the farm and ranch right there. And then you can go back out. You definitely can do it from right here, and we'll give that a shot sometime on a different video. And I'm going to close that and go back to there. It takes care of all that. And I'm down to step 10. Strong recommendation. Please remember to back up your data regularly. I recommend at least daily. Look for a future YouTube video where I walk you through how to set up your own backups. And as a follow-up, I'll send out to our licensees an attached file, probably named FFRM backup.bat.txt. But what you'll do is you'll do the same thing. You'll download that from the email. It'll probably go into your downloads folder, and you copy that over to your FFRM folder, and then you rename it to just FFRM-backup.bat. In other words, you take off the .txt, you take that off, and now it is something called a bat or a batch file. And in there, you can open it up and you can actually read it. You can edit it, and you'll see in there it has an xcopy command that will copy all of your files from your FFRM folder to another folder on your PC named FFRM-backup. That's why I suggested that you go ahead and create that folder whenever you get a chance. Please watch our videos, other videos that I've recorded on the YouTube. And these can help walk you through the various features and functions of FFRM, give you overviews of non-technical and application and all kinds of stuff. But that's enough, I believe, for today. Again, I'm Dave with Countryside. I'm just a simple country programmer, and I created FFRM for my farm, and I'm hoping that that it helps you out with yours. If you want to stand by, at the end of these, I like to throw in a nice family farm video just for fun. So if you want to watch that, you're welcome to. Otherwise, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and everybody have fun. Thank you.